America's first serial killer, H. Holmes. Born in 1861 as Herman Webster Mudgett, the roots of his twisted nature can be traced back to his childhood. Raised in rural New Hampshire, young Mudgett was uncommonly intelligent, but also exhibited a fascination with the macabre. He was known to trap and dissect animals, displaying a disconcerting lack of empathy. As he matured, so too did his dark interests. He excelled in his studies, particularly in medicine, a field that would later aid him in his heinous deeds. It was during his time at the University of Michigan's medical school that he began to experiment with cadavers, even going so far as to manipulate them for insurance scams, showing an early knack for deceit and manipulation. As he grew older, his twisted proclivities only seemed to intensify. A New England native by birth, born Herman Webster Mudgett, this man had a knack for reinvention. Along with a change of scenery, he adopted a new name, Henry Howard Holmes, as he embarked on a new chapter in the Windy City. This was not a simple attempt at a fresh start, rather it was a calculated move, a strategic step in a dark plan that was yet to unfold. Holmes was not your typical newcomer. He was a man of charm and intelligence, qualities that made him a magnet for unsuspecting individuals. He was quick to establish himself within the society, seamlessly blending in, his charisma serving as a mask that concealed his true intentions. Chicago, in the late 19th century, was a bustling hub of opportunity, a city alive with optimism and growth. It was the perfect backdrop for Holmes to enact his devious plans. His chameleon-like ability to adapt and blend in allowed him to navigate the city's social landscape with ease. He was not just a man of charm, but also of ambition. Holmes was not content with simply fitting in, he had bigger plans. His vision was grand, and his intentions far from benevolent. He set out to construct a building that would later be known as the Murder Castle. But at the time, it was presented as nothing more than a hotel, a beacon of hospitality in the thriving city. Holmes's new identity allowed him to operate under the radar, his charming persona serving as a smokescreen to his sinister plans. His intelligence, coupled with his knack for manipulation, made him a formidable figure, a wolf in sheep's clothing. The city of Chicago, teeming with life and oblivious to the danger lurking within, was about to become the hunting ground for one of America's first serial killers. Little did the city know, Holmes was about to leave a dark mark on its history. Have you heard of the Murder Castle? A chilling testament to Holmes's macabre ingenuity. In 1886, Holmes embarked on an ambitious project that would serve as the stage for his gruesome acts. A three-story edifice, later known as the Murder Castle, began to rise in the heart of Chicago. Holmes, ever the charming socialite, had no trouble securing funds and labor for his project, but this was no ordinary building. It was a labyrinth of death, designed by Holmes himself. Its architecture was as twisted as the mind of its creator. It housed windowless rooms, soundproof chambers, and secret passageways, features that would baffle even the most seasoned architect. To further his horrific designs, the building was equipped with trapdoors leading to the basement. This underground lair was a chamber of horrors, complete with surgical tables and a crematorium. It was here that Holmes would dispose of his victims, leaving no trace of their gruesome end. As if this wasn't enough, the building also boasted various torture devices. Holmes used these to inflict unimaginable pain on his victims before their eventual demise. While constructing his castle of horrors, Holmes managed to keep his intentions hidden. He frequently changed contractors to ensure no one could piece together the full layout of the building. This strategy proved successful, allowing him to operate undetected for years. The Murder Castle was more than just a building, it was a well-oiled machine of death. Holmes had thought of everything, from luring his victims to disposing of their remains. It was a testament to his cunning and ruthless efficiency. The Murder Castle, in its grotesque glory, stood as a grim monument to Holmes's monstrous design. Each brick laid, each room created, spoke volumes of the horror that lurked within its walls. It was a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity, a monument to the darkest side of ambition and deceit. Holmes used his charm and the allure of the World's Fair to lure his unsuspecting victims. But how did he manage to keep his murderous activities hidden for so long? The World's Fair of 1893, a beacon of progress and innovation, attracted millions to the city of Chicago. Among the throngs of visitors, Holmes found an ideal hunting ground. He presented his hotel as a haven for travelers, a place of employment, or even a potential matrimonial home. With the charisma of a seasoned con man, he won over the trust of many, primarily women, who were none the wiser to his sinister intentions. While the fair celebrated human achievement within the walls of the murder castle, a grim counter-narrative unfolded. The labyrinthine structure, with its windowless rooms and secret passageways, was a stage set for a macabre play. Once trapped, the victims found themselves in a nightmarish reality. Some were asphyxiated in gas chambers, while others were left to perish in hidden rooms. The basement, fitted with surgical tables and a crematorium, was the final act in this grim performance. Holmes was not merely a murderer, he was an architect of fear, designing his building to be a machine of death. Soundproof chambers ensured screams went unheard, while trapdoors enabled him to move victims around like pawns in a sick game. The murder castle was a testament to his twisted genius, a physical manifestation of his disregard for human life. Yet despite the horrors that took place within its walls, the outside world remained oblivious. Holmes's charm acted as a veil, obscuring the truth. He exploited the transient nature of the World's Fair, with people constantly coming and going, to keep his activities hidden. It was a perfect storm of opportunity, deceit, and silence. Holmes's reign of terror seemed unstoppable, but his downfall was looming. His web of deceit was intricately woven, but like all things built on lies, it was destined to unravel. The extent of his crimes, the depth of his depravity, would soon come to light, marking the end of one of America's darkest chapters. Holmes's web of deceit began to unravel in 1894, but what led to his capture? It was a seemingly unrelated crime that first put Holmes in the crosshairs of law enforcement. He was apprehended on charges of insurance fraud, a petty crime compared to the monstrous acts he had been committing under the unsuspecting eyes of Chicago. As investigators delved into Holmes's life, they stumbled upon a horrifying reality. The murder castle, once seen as a peculiar yet innocuous edifice, was now recognized for its true purpose, a macabre house of horrors. The labyrinthine layout, the soundproof chambers, the trapdoors, all of it was meticulously designed for a singular purpose, to aid Holmes in his gruesome pursuits. His trial in 1895 was a spectacle that seized the nation's attention. The calm and collected demeanor of Holmes as he recounted his heinous acts sent chills down the spines of those present. He confessed to 27 murders, a chilling admission that made headlines across the country. However, it's believed that the actual number of victims far exceeds his confession, with some estimates ranging into the hundreds. The confessions, though detailed, were laced with an unnerving arrogance, almost as if Holmes took pride in his cruel ingenuity. This shocking display of remorselessness further cemented the public's perception of him as a monster in human form. Holmes was found guilty and sentenced to death, a verdict that brought a sense of closure, yet left a disquieting unease. On May 7, 1896, Holmes met his end at the gallows of Moyamensing Prison in Philadelphia. His final moments were as calm and composed as his confessions, a chilling end to a life marked by unimaginable cruelty. In the end, justice caught up with Holmes, but his grim legacy lives on. His story continues to fascinate and horrify, a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity. The murder castle may be long gone, but the memory of its creator, H. Holmes, continues to cast a long and dark shadow. Over a century later, the story of H. Holmes continues to fascinate and horrify. But what remains of his murder castle today? Well, not much. In fact, the building was largely destroyed by a fire in 1895, and what remained was demolished in 1938. The site where it once stood is now occupied by a post office, a stark contrast to the sinister happenings that once took place there. Yet, despite its physical absence, the legacy of the murder castle persists. Holmes's story, with its macabre blend of ambition, deceit, and cold-blooded murder, serves as a grim reminder of the depths of human depravity. It's a stark contrast to the American dream, showing us the dark side of ambition and the lengths some will go to achieve it. The tale of H. Holmes is a chilling testament to the dark side of the human psyche, a story that continues to haunt us to this day. Thank you for spending time with us today on Spookscope. Make sure to give the video a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. And remember to subscribe to the channel for more contents alike. Until next time, my dear spooker, stay curious.